So what is theta healing and how does it work? First of all, let me give you an overview of how we function. There are many components that go into making a human being, and I'll try to express my understanding of it. First, we have the body, which is composed of the elements of the earth and is the material part of our being. The body is the vehicle through which all other components express themselves. Then you have the brain, which is part of the body, but which carries the mind. What is the mind? No one really knows. It's our thinking process and is partially governed by the chemical processes of our body. But it can also work the other way around because the mind receives its own non-physical input and can govern the chemical processes of the body. And then we have the non-material components, different forms of consciousness, which is what makes us different to other forms of animal life. These have different functions and play different roles. We have the conscious mind, the unconscious mind, and the higher consciousness. All forms of consciousness communicate with each other and interact. The unconscious mind holds a vast amount of knowledge about us and our environment. It holds our emotions and memories. It is responsible for keeping our bodies functioning and to alerting us when they're not working as they should. The unconscious has the role of storing fears and beliefs. This isn't a problem or something that needs to be eliminated, just a function. It stores all the beliefs we've picked up in our lives and also the beliefs which we've inherited from our ancestors and through our cultural and religious backgrounds. The beliefs we hold in our unconscious mind are often quite different to those we think we hold in our conscious minds, and often we aren't aware that we have those beliefs. But those beliefs are stronger and will outweigh the beliefs we're conscious of. Have you ever had a knee-jerk reaction to an event which has surprised you? Something that's made you behave in a way that you think is out of character? That is your unconscious mind kicking in and asserting its beliefs over and above your conscious beliefs. The unconscious mind is what drives us and makes us avoid certain situations because of fears which are stored there. We make decisions from the level of the unconscious mind. We feel emotions from there, and we form opinions of the situation from there. The unconscious mind will send signals to the consciousness to let it know that it's uncomfortable with certain things. If these signals are ignored, or if certain situations cannot be resolved, the unconscious mind will download its imbalance onto the physical body and cause an imbalance in the body, which may lead to the person developing an illness or picking up a disease. Our diseases are so often rooted in events in our lives or from when we feel trapped, and the illness is a way of escaping these events and, more importantly, bringing the person to a greater understanding of them. I remember when I was studying for advanced maths in my GCSEs, no, not GCSEs, GCEs, for which I had no natural aptitude, and I was so terrified that I managed to get glandular fever, which put me out of action, not only for that exam, but for another 3 as well. So in my mind, I hadn't failed. I just hadn't been able to take the exam. There is a large body of knowledge of how the unconscious mind functions since Freud and Jung, and with the development of psychoanalysis. This has increased over the years with those who have followed and developed on their teachings. The unconscious is subjected to a vast amount of data, of which only a tiny percentage imprints on the conscious mind. The unconscious stores all this data for future use. The conscious mind plays such a large part in our everyday life. It has access to the unconscious mind and will receive some of the information that's held there in store. The conscious mind uses that knowledge to make decisions, to gain knowledge, and to communicate. It's the part of our minds which is the most readily available to us. The higher consciousness, some people call it the soul. The body ceases to live when the soul has departed. It is the essence of that person, and if you've ever seen anyone you cared for who's died, there is a profound sense of understanding that though the body of that person is still there, that person has gone, the essence has left. The values of the soul are often different and higher than the values we have as people caught up in the fears and troubles of daily life. Like Jiminy Cricket, the higher self is the voice of our conscience. Theta healing creates a communication between the conscious, the unconscious, and the higher consciousness. Theta helps the conscious pick up on the beliefs and fears in the unconscious, where they're held, and gives us a tool to understand and to change them if they don't serve us well. Theta healing also helps us to gain access to our higher consciousness so we can discover and make use of our potential. Theta is a tool which clears the beliefs that don't work for us and which stop us living to our highest potential. Theta is a self-knowledge tool.